Hi friends, welcome in or welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley if this is your first time here, and if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. Today we are discussing my April TBR, April Hopefuls. One of my friends on Instagram, I will put her handle down here, Alyssa, put together a really nice April reading challenge for her birthday month. And of course, my toxic reading trait is picking challenges, building TBRs, and not following through. But I'm gonna try to do better with this one. I've been doing really good this year as far as building a TBR and actually sticking to it. So I'm just gonna see if, even with the Polycon being over after this month, if I can continue with this reading off of my monthly TBR streak that I have been going on. So I did take her prompts and I went through my shelves and I pulled all physical books for this. As I am recording this, we are 10 days into April and I have not started one because I had quite a few books that were rolled over from the month of March. And so yeah, we're just gonna see. We're gonna see where I land. My prediction is that I'm gonna get through at least 4 of these books. And if I get through 4 of these, I will pat myself on the back. Let's waste no further time on this introduction and get right into the prompts and the books that I selected for them. The first prompt is read a book with necromancy. And I chose Gideon the Ninth. This book has been on my TBR for at least a year, I would say. And I am equal parts scared and excited to start this book. I've heard so many good things about it. I know so many people love this book and I've only seen like good reviews of it, but I'm scared because it is science fiction and people who like read like either really high fantasy or science fiction regularly have said that it takes a little bit to get into this book and that you kind of just don't know what's going on, and I typically don't do well with that. So I'm very nervous about reading this and whether or not I will be able to keep up, but we shall see. So the next prompt is an Alyssa Approved book, and on her Instagram she posted a list of ideas of books that she loved, and I took a look at that and basically saw what I had on my shelves that matched what was on her list. And the book that I pulled for that is Get a Life, Chloe Brown. This would be my second book by Talia Hibbert, and I loved the first book that I read by her. I have a bit more on my Kindle just because that first book was 5 stars and I couldn't wait to read more from this author. I know a lot of people have read Miss Chloe Brown and have enjoyed it, and I am excited to see what the hype is, if I'm going to enjoy it just as much. When I read the back of it, I love these type of stories, and I know that Talia Hibbert is really good about writing about characters who have like disabilities that are not always visible, but like I think the one that I read, she may have like migraine issues or something. I don't remember exactly, but I am excited to read this and to get further into Miss Hibbert's backlist. The next prompt was to read a fantasy book, and I chose Bewitched by Laura Thalassa. This is going to be a buddy read that I'm planning to do with my friend Kathleen, and of course I did choose this book because Miss Laura is going to be at a Polycon. I have kind of given up on like reading as much of Polycon authors as possible, but I couldn't pass up the opportunity to put her on this list when I know she's going to be there, and I had the opportunity to read this prior to going. I'm excited to see if it hooks me and if I enjoy this book as well. But yes, this is my pick for the fantasy book prompt. The next book is to read a book with a purple cover, and I picked Delilah Green Doesn't Care. As you can see, my bookmark is in this because this is going to be the next physical book that I read this month. I am quite excited to get into this. This will be my first sapphic read, And again, this is one of those books that you hardly ever see any negative reviews on it. You only see positive. So I am excited to read this. I already have Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail, which is book 2 in this series. And yeah, I am just really excited to get into this. I absolutely love this cover. Usually I don't really care for like cartoon covers, but the illustration is done really well. I like how the faces look and like it doesn't look super cartoony. That is my pick for a book with a purple cover. The next prompt is a book with an animal companion, and it's so funny that I'm about to put this book up because this was a part of the Build Your TBR video that I did last year, and that is Life's Too Short by Abby Jimenez, and I did not get a chance to get to it. I'm hoping that I get to it in this challenge because I have heard so many good things about this author and I do want to give her a shot. I think this book is actually like book 3 in a series, an interconnected standalone series. But I am excited to read this and be introduced to this author. I do have her most popular book on my Kindle. I have not gotten to it yet, but hopefully this year I will. But I feel like this will be a great place to start. I loved the premise of this book. This was one that didn't necessarily stand out to me in the bookstore. I don't really know why I picked it up, but when I read the synopsis on the back of the book, I knew it was something that I wanted to take home. So I am happy, excited to pull this one again, and hopefully I will be able to get to it this month. The next prompt is to read a book with a snake on the cover or that gives dark villain vibes. And for that prompt, I chose These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. And I believe this is a Romeo and Juliet retelling, I think. I don't really know a ton about this. I think actually Alyssa, the person who put this challenge together, is actually the person that I heard talk about this book, and she's the one who made me want to pick it up. And so, yeah, I am equal parts excited and nervous. I know this is, I think it has fantasy elements to it, but we shall see if I like it. I'm sure it'll be in a reading vlog. The next prompt is to read a sequel, and I chose Wicked Beauty by Katie Robert. This is part of her Dark Olympus series, and I have loved the first 2 books that are that was in this series, and I have been anxious to pick up this one. I do have the next 2 after this one, so I want to continue to make my way through this series. I feel like I'm so far behind her release schedule of this series, and I know that she's doing, I believe, 10 books, so maybe reading this one will give me the inspiration to pick up the other 2 that I have after this so that I can kind of catch up with her release schedule. I am excited to continue this series. Okay, so the next prompt was read a book off of your TBR, and let me just say that this book will be subject to change. While I am excited to read the book that I pulled, this is the one prompt that I am leaving open for like mood reader Ashley to speak up in case I don't feel like reading this one when that time comes, especially because it is to just read off your TBR. But the book that I chose when I put these books together is The Nanny by Elena Ferguson, and I believe this book actually popped up on the previous Build My TBR challenge, and when I pick it up, I am excited, but sometimes when I read the back of the book, my excitement wanes. Also, I did see a review of somebody else who read this book, and they did not have great things to say about it. But the thing that kind of keeps me like locked in is this little blurb by Ruby Dixon that says this book is as if Allie Hazelwood and Tessa Bailey had a spicy baby, and I love Tessa Bailey, so to have that comparison makes me want to pick this up and read it. And the last prompt is a dark fantasy or a thriller horror book, and I picked Survive the Night by Riley Sager. We know I have no time for to peel off stickers. But this book is one that I got at McKay's during one of my book hauls. I want to say maybe my birthday book haul last year. And I have been excited to try this author. I've heard a lot of things about Riley Sager. I do have quite a bit. I think I have 3 other books by him. Maybe not. I think I'm mixing Riley Sager and Grady Hendrix up. But I've heard this name in the thriller horror world, and I was very intrigued by the plot of this book. And yeah, it's set in the year that I was born, so even more intriguing for me to pick up. And I feel like the past like 3 months, I've been reading fantasy with a mix of romance. And so I think this will be a nice little shakeup of what I have been reading the past few months this year. And I typically tend to save my thriller books for the fall time frame, because I just feel like when you're in the fall and it's, you know, cold and chilly, and that's the time to read the thriller and horror things. But I think this will be a nice shakeup for something different when I'm ready for a palate cleanser. Alrighty, that has been the books that I pulled from my April TBR. Again, I don't really anticipate me reading more than 4 or 5 books off of this. If I do more, that'll be great, but I know how busy the rest of my month is going to be, so sometimes reading physically isn't that easy. But if you made it to the end of this book, leave me the car emoji for the car that's on the front of this that you can't really see behind my sticker. And yes, if you like this video, please make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're not already, and share with all your friends if you're loving the content that I'm providing here. And I will see you all in my next one.